card, Approach the City, your 3-1 well-backed favourite.
Ready to go, and they're off. Racing away for Division 1 of the Raving Roofing 50 Years Handicap Stakes over 1 mile. Mr. Z is the first one to press on, leads the way from the grey filly Hell of a Pace. To the inside of her is the blinkered First Time Making Music. It's 2 lengths away to Element of Surprise, and then dashing to you in the light blue silks. The black and green is the mare Cool Vixen. Behind her to the outer is Miss Houdini. Asif is further behind in those black and white silks, and quite keen as well to the outside. Then Roman Tempest, and at the back of the field is Approach the City. On towards the end of the far side there, Mr. Z leads the way by about a length or so to Hell of a Pace in second position, Making Music to the inside in third. Dashing to you is fourth at the far bend. Then to the inside is Element of Surprise, followed by the pushed along Miss Houdini. Cool Vixen, the rail skimming run is behind that one. A further length and a half away to Hasif, and then Approach the City, and Roman Tempest will be last just before the final 3 furlongs of the contest as they straighten for home. Mr. Z has got the lead. Hell of a Pace held together to the outside, apparently still going pretty kindly. Making Music poised next in third, then Element of Surprise, and dashing to you. Making ground is Cool Vixen as Mr. Z tries to kick again. Hell of a Pace is now off the bridle for the first time, but she's come through now to just about lead, but challenges either side. Making Music to the inside. Cool Vixen unwinding a big effort toward the outer. Cool Vixen now struck the front from Hell of a Pace. Then Making Music in third, followed by Hasif. On the run towards the line, it's Cool Vixen who shows with the lead and will win under David Probert. Cool Vixen has beaten Hell of a Pace. Making Music was back in third, then Hasif and Roman Tempest.
Cool Vixen wins Division 1 at the opening race, 5-1 for David Probert, Robin Brisland and Joe Brisland. Second, Hell of a Pace, 4-1. Third, Making Music, 9-2. With Approach the City disappointing, a beaten favourite back in 6th and looking never really that in the fight really. The contrast was Cool Vixen, the 5-year-old mare who travelled into this a dream under David Probert, and when he pressed the button, the response was pretty immediate, definitely immediate enough for a race of this level at least. We're talking about basement stuff, but she gains her second win of her career.
First race, which was Division 1 of a mile handicap, got the way of Cool Vixen. David Probert, well done. You know the mare, you've ridden her before, and on the balance of what she'd been doing recently in this kind of race, she was well worth the win there.
Yeah, it didn't look the greater races on paper, and to be fair to her, she hasn't been beaten on her previous starts, and she's been showed that she's been consistent throughout this year. And I think her run at Brighton last time was a step in the right direction, and the mare deserved to get her head in front, and it's good for Robin and the team back home. They work hard and they deserve it.
I know you'll be riding Stoll for the first time on the track later, but how interesting a runner could he be, do you think, in that feature-listed race?
Yeah, he looks an interesting type, doesn't he? We've got a bit of a wide draw, but I suppose experience is probably going to go down to it at the end of the day, and he's got a hard challenge from being drawn out that wide, but be interesting horse I know to sit on.
Good start to the day, well done.
Thanks so much.
So Cool Vixen took Division 1. Who would win Division 2 over the mile again? Barnbrook Boy, your 5-4 favourite on handicap debut, and extremely well back to make it a winning one.
And they're off. Racing away, attentive, a little slow to gather stride for Division 2 over a mile of the Raven Roofing 50 Years Handicap, and it's Always Fearless under Tyrese Cameron, who lead the way through the opening furlong. To the well-fancied handicap first-timer Banbrook Boy, who sits in second place in the black and green hoops. Next in third is Ditagamunu, racing towards the outside of the filly Inclement Weather in the yellow and light blue silks. Red and yellow then for He's Our Star. Next toward the inside is Attentive, followed by Lord Clenacastle, and Recordame, the 2-time previous course and distance winner, is at the back of the field. Always Fearless is going pretty fast down towards the end of the back straight, has now opened up to a good 5 or 6 length advantage. Always Fearless, the top weight leading from Banbrook Boy, the favourite in second. It's Dutagamunu toward the outside of Inclement Weather there, third and fourth. Then came He's Our Star and Attentive from Lord Castle, and Rekadami still anchored at the back of the field. They're racing their way back towards home in Division 2, this handicap, and it's Always Fearless who still leads the charge. Has about a 3.5 length lead from Bambrook Boy in second, then in Clement Weather. Ridden for more, Dutagamunum in fourth, and then Attentive. He's our star, Rekadami, trying to stay on Lord Castle's last of all at the cutaway. Always Fearless with the advantage. Now joined to the far side by Inclement Weather. A couple of lengths away to the hard under pressure Bambrook Boy. Rekadami storming down the outside, coming up with something late on inside the final furlong. Always Fearless about to be joined by Rekadami out wide. To the inside is Inclement Weather. Rekadami, Always Fearless and Rekadami toward the line. It's just Always Fearless in front of the first winner for Tyrese Cameron. Into second, Rekadami, Inclement Weather third. Bambrook Boy was fourth. They were clear for Dutagamunu and Lord Castle.
Always Fearless wins 7-1. A first winner on the track for Tyrese Cameron riding for Richard Hannon. Second, Requiem 14-1, 5-1 about Inclement Weather in third, with Bambrook Boy very disappointing and back in fourth. Back to the drawing board for him, but Always Fearless under Tyrese. He'll never forget this first winner. They shot off in front and gained a healthy enough lead, and it looked like he was going to be extremely vulnerable in the closing stages from the likes of a closer like Requiem, who knows how to win, but ultimately didn't quite have the fight that the leader managed to show in the closing stages. Got a breather into him, and that ultimately told in the end.
It's delighted to be here at Kempton for a moment this young man will never forget. This is Tyrese Cameron, first ever winning ride. How does that feel, Tyrese?
Yeah, it feels great. I rode him last time. We just sort of got stuck from a good draw. But today he just jumped well, so I just let him bowl along in front.
You jumped well. He had a huge lead for a point. It did look like he was going to be swallowed up at one point, but were you always feeling like you had more?
Well, you know, I was aware of my big lead and thought I might get caught. You know, he's stuck on well and done it very well.
This will have been a moment, no doubt, that you'd have dreamed of. Just the fourth ride in public, is that right?
Yeah, fourth ride, yeah.
So how big a journey has this been just to get to this point, Tyrese?
Look, it's amazing. I was on my course at the British Racing School this time last year. I'd done 12 weeks there. I moved straight to Mr. Hannon's, and since I moved there, everything's gone uphill, you know. Everyone's happy to help. The older jockeys, Sean, Ross, Pat, they're all happy to help. And if you've got any questions, you know, they're always there. But no, it's been massive. I've improved loads since I moved to Mr. Hannon's. But yeah, I couldn't be happier.
Is this a dream fulfilled?
Dream fulfilled, yeah.
Congratulations, first of many, no doubt. Tyrese, well done.
Thank you.
Filly's Novice Stakes up next over a mile. Whispering Romance was making her debut at the back end of her 3-year-old career. She cost 1.4 million guineas and 7-4 on to pay a bit back.
And they're off, racing away 1 mile the journey for the Unibet. Breeders Backing Racing EBF Fillies Novice Stakes over 1 mile. LORDSBRIDGE Girl is prominent early on in white and blue. Right up there, the well-fancied Whispering Romance on debut. White sleeves and cap prominent is newcomer Forever Dreaming. Into the outside of those, Lady Loulou. And it's now Lady Loulou who strides to the front under Rab Havlin. Goes on by length to Whispering Romance in second place. ADELA en Champagne to the outside in white and blue. To the inside is LORDSBRIDGE Girl. Between them, Forever Dreaming. Further couple of lengths and away to find the grey silks won by Charlie Bishop on board Mayfair Gold. To the inner is DELVEY in the white and orange. Next on the inside is Lady Beaconsfield in the red jacket, and Sandrillan is the back marker as they start to turn towards the final half a mile. It is Lady Loulou who has the lead. Green jacket, white sleeve, shows out in front by length over Whispering Romance. Handily positioned in second. ADELA en Champagne to the outside of the LORDSBRIDGE Girl. There, third and fourth. Ridden on the bend in is Forever Dreaming. Then DELVEY to the inside in the white and orange ahead of Mayfair Gold. Forever Dreaming under pressure now on the bend in. Also driven there is Sandrillan. Trying to get through to the inside is Lady Beaconsfield approaching the cutaway. And Lady Loulou now ridden for more. Cruising up to the outside. Whispering Romance. James Dodd has got plenty underneath him at the moment, it would appear. Over on the far side is LORDSBRIDGE Girl. DELVEY fighting on well. Mayfair Gold is staying on. Whispering Romance now sent about her work. Just drifting over towards the near side. Mayfair Gold is finishing well in the grey silks. Then LORDSBRIDGE Girl and DELVEY digging in. It's Whispering Romance and Mayfair Gold to the line they head. It's going to be a close call. Whispering Romance and Mayfair Gold. There's little in it. DELVEY was next in third, then Lady Loulou and LORDSBRIDGE Girl.
1 run, 1 win for Whispering Romance. 7-4 on favourite scores on debut for James Doyle, Charlie Appleby and Godolphin. Second, Mayfair Gold, 25-1. 125-1 about DELVEY. back in third. And if you took the short price of what Whispering Romance, the last furlong would not have been a pleasant viewing. She's been very green here, as you would expect, her first racecourse experience. But James Doyle was trying to straighten her up, and she was having none of it. She's just drifted markedly left. That gave a chance into the runner-up in the MAYFAIR Gold, who's run a fine race. But ultimately, while the talent is very much there, the greenness nearly got the better of her.
Okay, really interesting race was the Fillies Novice. It's gone the way of Whispering Romance, who has wandered in the closing stages, come right down towards the stand start. It's taken a while to see her, an expensive purchase. James, she's won first time out. What was your assessment?
She was very green, wasn't she?
Yeah.
She will certainly come on for the experience. The leader was just a bit green as well and wandering off the inside rail the whole way round. So obviously made my life a little bit difficult and just kept taking her mind off the job a little bit. But once she straightened up, she went to let down good, and then the leader stopped. So she's just got a bit lonely the last furlong. She'll improve plenty for it, though. I think what she's done today is purely on ability rather than actually knowing the job, so she should.
And lastly, not to keep you long, I just wanted to talk about the two in the Floodlit Stakes. There wouldn't look to be an awful lot at all on rating, certainly, and what they've done, the two Godolphin runners later.
Yes, yeah, I guess Wild Crusade's got a good form, sort of figures round here, knows the track well. Warren Point he's a pretty talented horse. He's not without his little kinks though. Hopefully they go a sort of even enough tempo and he can relax nicely, sort of somewhere near the pace and come through with a nice run. But he was pretty good at Goodwood that day, but he did wander a little bit. So hopefully he's listening to me today.
You're alert to it after what just happened there, James. Well done with the winner.
Thank you.
Harden Handicappers up next. We'd seen plenty of most of them. Not the case with Soma's Foresight, your 5-2 favourite on handicap debut.
And they're off. 1 mile is the journey for the betterracingtv.com handicap stakes. And racing through the first furlong, Taravara is the first one to show in the journey, being pressed over for the lead by Island Bandit. Island Bandit, Taravara the first two from Dashing Dick and Animal Instincts, and with those is Golden Sheen. Fantasy Mac is next, and then Tarban. Behind Tarban is Aristobulus toward the inside in the purple and green silks, from Soames Foresight in the pink and white. Another couple away to Rogue Force and then Council, and Sid's Annie is well behind as they race towards the end of the far side. As they do so, it's Island Bandit under Jason Watson, who leads from Golden Sheen between horses. Taravara towards the inside. Completing out the leading four is Animal Instinct. Just in behind that one is Council. Behind Council is He's Our Gentleman, and then Fantasy Mac from Tarban and Aristobulus and Soames Foresight. And then further back to find Council and Rogue Force, and Sidzani is at the back of the field. Dashing Dick trying to make up some ground behind the principals now as they begin to turn in. It's Island Bandit with the lead from Golden Sheen in second. Then to the inside, Animal Instinct followed then by the ridden along Taravara. Dashing Dick cruising out with the cheek pieces in light blue silks. Pink cap to the inside, Fantasy Mac. Soames Foresight's trying to stay on. Council to the far side. He's a gentleman trying to get rolling as well. They're running down towards the final furlong. Fantasy Mac has come through to lead from Dashing Dick. Rogue Force is still finishing off towards the outside. Fantasy Mac with the call from Dashing Dick. Then Council, He's Our Gentleman, and Rogue Force heading up towards the line. It's Fantasy Mac and a double for James Doyle, beating Dashing Dick and He's Our Gentleman, then Rogue Force. Ahead then of Tarban and Council.
Fantasy Mac wins again this season, 13-2, double for James Doyle, winner for George Bowie, Angela McAlpine and Mrs. M. Lund. Second, Dashing Dicks at 28-1. Third, He's the Gentleman, and 9-1 with the handicap debutant Soames Foresight never figuring in the finish and staying on a little bit too late. He'll know more from this, but Fantasy Mac has been in the form of her life in a 3-year-old season. This is win number 5, and she looked like she had a little bit to prove off the back of her last couple of performances, but dropping back to a mile, she's very good over this kind of distance, stays it particularly well, and those options are going up further again in the due course.
That's 2 from the last 2 for James Doyle, 2 from 2 as well on Fantasy Mac. Well done, James. That she's improved a lot this year. She's won very well there. Well, the cheek pieces are, well, clearly a positive addition, but how much did they help?
Yeah, I was quite pleased we had them on there. I mean, I planned to be a little bit handier, but I didn't begin all that well, and a few jumped much quicker than me. But they went an okay, sensible kind of tempo, but she quickened up good to put herself in with a nice sort of run, and she just went through the motions a little bit through the sort of latter stages of the race. So it was nice that we did have the cheek pieces on just to help her focus. And yeah, she's had a good successful campaign, hasn't she? She's gone up to the 10 furlongs and dropped back to the mile, so she's proven quite versatile in that regard.
We already talked after the last winner about what you've got coming up later. Can I just talk further afield this week? Keeneland Racing TV showing the Breeders' Cup, of course. What are you most looking forward to riding this week?
Well, I ride Pogo in the mile. He's quite a fun horse, isn't he? And his run style looks like it should suit him. However, as we know, Keeneland's not as tight as some of the other tracks that we ride at the Breeders' Cup. But yeah, he's quite a fun ride, isn't he, in the mile? So looking forward to that. And Rebels Romance, who's had quite a good campaign. Obviously started life in Dubai, winning the UAE Derby, and then we switched him up to racing on turf, and he's shown a clear liking for turf, and he's won his two Group 1s in Germany. Yeah. He's a horse that's really kind of thriving, and I know it wasn't a clear-cut decision for William to make between himself and Nation's Pride. So as we know, Nation's Pride knows the lay of the land out there pretty well, so he's done a fair bit of travelling over there so far. So yeah, exciting. Yeah,
just quickly, Rebels Romance, I'm not going to call it Plan B, but start of the year he was favourite for the Dubai World Cup, 10 furlong to the dirt. It would be pretty extraordinary to go mile and 4 on the turf and go and win the Breeders' Cup turf.
Yeah, it would be. It'd be some story, wouldn't it? Shows versatility, I suppose, doesn't it? But yeah, he's a funny horse. We lost him a little bit after that kind of dirt campaign, and it's really been nice to see him come back and flourish and really, you know, grow and mature as a physical. He obviously, you'll see him on the TV out there, or if you're there, he's a pretty imposing horse. Like, he's absolutely gorgeous to look at.
Great stuff. Good luck then.
Thank you.
Cheers, James.
Next up, the Future Stayers Maiden Stakes over a mile. Lion Tamer, hooded for debut, was an uneasy favourite, but still clear at the end, but good money for Mr. Buster into second favouritism.
Village Legend rearing up in the stalls there. Set to go. And they're away in racing. Osdacia is a bit slow to find stride at 1 mile the journey for the British EBF Future Stayers Maiden Stakes. Heading through the opening furlong, it's Mickey Mongoose, the most experienced in the field, that leads under Ollie Stammers from stable companion Palminteri, who's racing in second. That's Lion Tamer in third spot. Next is the filly Roaring Success. And the blue sleeves and cap of Mr. Buster ahead of Clarko's Back, and then Village Legend. Through the midfield, CARAXES, the green and white, the orange cap is Leitrim Rock. Behind that one to the inside is Different Tone in the purple and red colours. AMLETO's much further back through them at this stage. Osdacia, who is slow to go, is second to last, and Cello under Josh Bryan is the back marker. Out of the far side they begin to go, with out in front Mickey Mongoose leading the way. Palminteri is in second, Lion Tamer in third place in the claret. Then Roaring Successor, Mr. Buster, is making ground around the outside of rivals. Then Village Legend in the white and red going by Clarko's Back. CARAXES ridden on the bend in. Then Leitrim Rock ahead of Different Turn and AMLETO, followed by Osdacia and Cello. They're racing towards the cutaway. New leader, Lion Tamer, has strode to the front from Mickey Mongoose. Mr. Buster ridden for more in third. Then Roaring Success, keeping on his Village Legend, but as they race down inside the final furlong and a half, it's Lion Tamer the one to get by. Mr. Buster is off giving chase. Village Legend now filling out third, then Roaring Success inside the final half. It's Lion Tamer wandering about a bit. Village Legend closing into the outside and coming home tremendously well. Village Legend has come through to win. Beats Lion Tamer and Mr. Buster. They got clear from Roaring Success, Clarko's Back, and the late running Cello.
Village Legend off the mark, 7-2 for Danny Muscat, James Ferguson and Bon Ho. Second, Lion Tamer 2-1 favourite. Third, Mr. Buster at 3-1. Lion Tamer looked in a perfect position to capitalise, but ultimately has been run out of things, as the further he's gone, the better Village Legend has been. That was the case when he ran at Yarmouth on debut over 7. The extra furlong is very much suited, and a timely boost for both trainer and owner with Deauville Legend, the favourite for the Melbourne Cup, run tomorrow morning around 4 a.m. Well, they've got their winner at Kempton at least, and an interesting winner for the future as well.
Dan Muscat's really good year continues, yet another winner. This was Village Legend. Dan, well done indeed. That looked a good race, a race with a lot of potential on paper. Your horse had the one run. How impressed were you with the performance today?
Very pleased. It's always nice when they take a step forward from their first run. That tends to be the way that James prepares them anyway. So he did everything right on debut over 7, and we always felt that the step up to a mile would suit him. He's obviously probably going to be a middle distance horse next year, but he went through his race smooth today. They went a nice gallop as well for a maiden, which is always a telling sign when they win nice. And initially he took a while to gather stride at the straight, but he really hit his straps from a furlong and a half out, and the penny was only sort of dropping then.
It was, and look, the favourite who looked to run a little bit green in the closing stages seemed to open the door a bit, but you were there to pounce.
Yeah, I had an uninterrupted run. Mr. Becker's was probably a touch unlucky. He got messed around on the turn by the horse. The other Johnson horse dropped down in front of us, but I was able to just keep my slot and bide my time until we got level in the straight. And I'm impressed with this horse, my horse's attitude.
You might clock off for today with the listed winner as well, because you've got Royal Scandal. You know her inside out. She hasn't actually had that much racing. She's beautifully bred. Today's a tough test, but do you think she can pass it later?
Impeccably bred. The record is good. Every time we've dipped our toes onto the turf, it's not really gone to plan with her. So probably hoping to just get a nice run under her belt, finish on a good note, and I imagine we'll put away for next year. So hopefully she can run a solid race. If she can win, great. She's got a lot to find at the weights probably, but no, she's a horse filly we got in high regard, and if she could nick a bit of black type tonight, it would help her pedigree for the owners and breeders, and then we'll look to build next year, I'm sure.
Great stuff, Dan. Well done, another winner.
Thank you.
The feature was the listed Raven Roofing Floodlit Stakes over 1.5 miles. Warren Point, your 6-4 well-backed favourite from Candleford.
And they're off. Racing away in the 17th running of the Raven Roofing Floodlit Stakes. This listed prize over the 1.5 miles. Warren Point broke out well, but doesn't want to lead. Here comes Wild Crusade with the white cap to pick it up. A dual previous course and distance winner. Berkshire Rocco on his return to action is right up there as well in the red and white. Hinting behind there, Warren Point gets a toe in 3rd position, followed by Stolen in navy blue and gold silks. And then Candleford in the green and red, coming up by us in 5th position, followed then by the grey filly Rousset. King of the South is behind those in the yellow and black silks. The white jacket then for Felix, and at the back of the field in red and yellow is Royal Scandal under Danny Muscat. About to sweep into the far side, and it's Wild Crusade who has the lead. Goes along just inside 2 lengths clear from Warren Point, who's racing in 2nd. A former St Ledger runner-up, Berkshire Rocco, is back in 3rd place. Candleford is in 4th position. The Duke of Edinburgh Handicap Stakes winner at Royal Ascot from back in the summer. Then Stoll is having first run for George Bow this afternoon. Then King of the South and Rousset, followed by Royal Scandal and Felix at the back of the field with her. So down the far side they head, and the field still being led by Wild Crusade. Followed through by stable companion Warren Point in 2nd place. Berkshire Rocco is back in 3rd. Then to the outside Stoll, followed by Candleford. Rousset's behind those, the red sleeves and cap for Sean Levy. King of the South towards the inside. Felix and Royal Scandal still the back 2 as they begin to race inside the final 5 furlongs at the end of the back straight. It is Wild Crusade who's out in front by 2 lengths to Warren Point in 2nd. Berkshire Rocco been nudged along in 3rd. Candleford handily positioned in 4th. And then came Stoll in 5th place. King of the South is behind Stoll. Then Rousset, Royal Scandal and Felix is driven in the final placing. They begin to level up inside the final 3 furlongs. Jim Crowley's controlled the gallop on Wild Crusade. Warren Point, though, is taking aim to the outside. Candleford trying to go for the inside route at the cutaway. Then King of the South and the ridden for more Stoll. Royal Scandal's trying to stay on. They're running towards the final furlong and a half, and it's still Wild Crusade. Warren Point the nearest danger to the outside. Candleford back in 3rd. Then King of the South and the running on Rousset. It's Wild Crusade and Warren Point, the stablemates, to fight it out. To the outside, Warren Point just coming home a bit better. And it's Warren Point under James Doyle to win the Floodlit Stakes. Has beaten Wild Crusade into 2nd. They were clear from Candleford and Rousset. Then King of the South and Royal Scandal.
Godolphin 1-2, Dubawi 1-2, Warren Point 6-4, favourite scores, treble for James Doyle, double for Charlie Appleby. 2nd, Godolphin and Charlie Appleby's Wild Crusade 7-2, 3rd, Candleford 9-4, and the latter named probably would have liked this to have been even more of a test, and probably will be stepping up in trip, no doubt. Dubawi 1-2, as we say, in Godolphin and Charlie Appleby. James Doyle in great form, and his confidence very much borne out in here as well. Waited as late as he dared to produce Warren Point, who any question marks about the trip have roundly been answered, and he gets one of the biggest wins of his career.
That's now 3 on the day as James Doyle's won the feature race, the Floodlit Stakes on Warren Point. A great result for Charlie Appleby for the Godolphin horses. They're both rated 104, not too much between them. And I guess if Warren Point had any stamina queries or any doubts at all? There's none after that, are there?
No, he got through the line pretty well there, didn't he? It was a sensible pace set by Jim in front. Obviously not a contested pace. It'd probably suit MAYFAIR if there was a bit more of a gallop on, just to help him relax. He can be a little bit headstrong in the early part, but he was pretty good today. Worked through his gears nicely in the straight, and he ran pretty straight, as we mentioned before. He has kind of lugged left and right before, but that kink seems to be ironed out, and he ran, you know, gun barrel straight today, which was definitely a good sign. Yeah.
Might be chances more on the day, but you've had 3. Just with him, there's every reason to think with his profile he could be destined for the Emirates, couldn't he, January, February time?
I think he's penciled in to go out there on a flight next week, so the programme, sort of that 1.5 miles, there's a few decent races. Obviously he'll hopefully have to progress a little bit more just to dip his toes into that kind of group level, but there's a few little warm-up races for him beforehand.
Great start to the Breeders' Cup week, well done.
Thank you, cheers.
The penultimate race on the card was another big race, the Unibet London Middle Series Distance Series Final. Over 1 mile and 3 furlongs, See the Casper 6-4 to bag another win in the season.
And they're off. Racing away for the £80,000 Unibet London Middle Distance Series Final. Natche Trace, Zach Wheatley in the colour change, now the purple and yellow diamonds up there early on with Neo DeMay. Looking to join in the red sleeves there, Pillar of Hope under Danny Muscat from a little wider out. They're followed into the corner by Naval Commander in purple and orange. Blue Jacket for True Courage towards that one's outside. To the inside of those two is MAYFAIR. They're followed around the bend by Spring Glow, between horses by Bellocchio. See the Casper is further back through them, just racing with Silver Skate behind as they run into the back straights. Out in front, then it's Natche Tracy leads the way, has developed a 2-length cushion. Over in second, Pillar of Hope. True Courage trying to go up there and hassle Natche Trace to the lead. True Courage now nearly level with Natche Trace. 2 lengths away to Neo DeMay, who's towards the inside of Pillar of Hope. They're racing in 3rd and 4th. Naval Commanders toward the outside of MAYFAIR. Then Bellocchio ahead of Spring Glow. A further 1 length back to See the Casper. At the back of the field is Silver Scape. They've gone through halfway down the back. And out in front, it's Natche Trace leading from True Courage in second. Neo DeMay is back in 3rd. 4th then is Pillar of Hope. To the inside is MAYFAIR. A little deeper then is Naval Commander. Followed another 1.5 lengths away by Spring Glow to the inside of Bellocchio. No move yet from See the Casper, sitting chilly there under James Doyle towards the back. Silver Scape has been ridden along for more, and the field about to turn towards home. 3 furlongs to go in the Unibet London Middle Distance Series Final. Natche Trace joined to the outside by True Courage. It's 2.5 lengths away to Neo DeMay. Then came Pillar of Hope. MAYFAIR ridden for more to the inside. Bellocchio now begin to pick up well down the centre. See the Casper has started to make his run toward the wide outside. Natche Trace, True Courage, both overtaken now by Bellocchio, who's stormed to the front, followed through by See the Casper. It's Bellocchio who goes for home under David Egan and has found 3 lengths on See the Casper in second. Silver Scape's running on from a good way back, but Bellocchio is well clear up top and will land the Middle Distance Series Final in fine style. Bellocchio an easy winner. See the Casper home in second, Silver Scape in 3rd. Then Naval Commander, Neo DeMay and Natche Trace.
Bellocchio wins another big pot at Kempton, 16-1 for David Egan, David Munuizier and All for One Racing. Second, the favourites See the Casper, 6-4, 9-2 about Silverscape in 3rd, staying on from the back. Horses for courses indeed. The winner of the Rosebery Handicap on seasonal reappearance as a 4-year-old, Bellocchio, has won another big pot at Kempton and hadn't been seen many times since, and all of them have been on turf. He'd been beaten out of sight in most of them, including last time when last to 4 behind Okeechobee. But back to the all-weather, back to Kempton, and under a fine ride from David Egan, he's put daylight between himself and the favourite See the Casper.
What a performance that was. 80 grand handicap, ripped apart by the top weight Bellocchio. Back to the scene of his Rosebery triumph. David Manuel, say well done. I know a lot of the team were here, the owners, your partner Kim, I think your daughter here as well. Everyone here to see this.
Yeah. Now look, I'm absolutely over the moon because the owners have been extremely patient with him. He's a horse that is very sound and what have you, but he wants the conditions to be perfect. And he loves Kempton, so he got that today.
The irony is, I think we're actually stood here under Bellocchio kind of turf weather, aren't we? This is the kind of thing that he wants to see. But could you have foreseen a performance like that? You knew he was good in the Rosebery, or you've always had a lot of faith in the horse, but did you expect him to do what he's done today?
To be fair, I was very, very hopeful, you know, because the other day, Salisbury, I know there was only 4 runners, but it was a good little race. And this horse, in his old age, he gives up very easily. You know, if things don't go his way, he just pulls himself up, and that's what he did. And I said to the partners, don't worry, he'll be fine at Kempton in a month's time. And it's been the target for a while. So I'm really happy it worked out well. Yeah.
And you've never, the races you put him in, the Sandown Classic Trial as a 3-year-old and so on at Royal Ascot, you've never had any diminishing of the faith. You've always had a lot of faith in this horse from the word go.
Yeah, we've always liked him. Look, he was a top-class 2-year-old, unbeaten in 2 starts, maiden and listed race. Then we threw him in a deep end thinking that he was up to the standards. I chose the classic trial at Sandown because usually it's a weak race. It wasn't. But no, look, he's a good horse. On the day, he's a proper listed Group 3 horse. Yeah.
Where next? Well, I mean, you'll have mapped out in your mind where it might be. Are there plans in Britain? Are there plans to take him abroad? What might we see with Bellocchio?
The horse is right-handed, you know,
yeah.
So we try and keep him right-handed as much as possible. It's not very easy to plan anything. But look, this year he won the Rosebery and now he wins this race today. He made an awful lot of money. I think we have time to map something out. I don't know, genuinely, I don't know where we're going to go or if we'll just turn him out. Yeah, I'm not too sure, really.
And tell us about the owners, because they've braved the conditions and it's been well worth it.
It's a fantastic group of people, and you know, I created this syndicate 4 years ago or 3 years ago, and we started with Into Faith. Into Faith was a cheap yearling, 20,000 euros. We won the big Arcana race with him, 150k. And I bought Bellocchio with that money and all costs associated for 2 years. The horse obviously won, and then won a maiden and then a listed race. He was under offer for an awful lot of money. They decided to roll the dice, and now he pays for his keep. So it's been a dream come true, really. So they're over the moon. Yeah. So
a special day, Rosebery, and the better part of the 80 grand prize today as well. David, I'll let you go back in because it's pretty miserable out here.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Cheers. Thank you.
The finale was a fillies handicap over 1 mile and 3 furlongs. PAWAPURI, your 6-5 on favourite, having scored last time on handicap debut.
And they're off and racing away. They jump over 1 mile and 3 furlongs for the concluding Raving Roofing Fillies Handicap Stakes, and it's the mare End Result under David Egan, who leads early in the grey-maroon colours, showing out in front from the Fast and the Curious, moving up towards the outside of Miss Harmony. Is between horses, towards the inside is NUBLE. Further 1.5 away to PAWAPURI, towards the inside of the top-weighted ROZALIA under Danny Musket. Towards the back of the field, Good American showing out last with TEQUILAMOCKINGBIRD, as they begin to head into the back straight in rather heavy rain here at Kempton in this final contest. End Result leading just inside 2 lengths to call. Over in second, the Fast and the Curious. NUBLE goes along in 3rd place under Neil Callan. Then Miss Harmony in 4th, followed another 1 length away by PAWAPURI, the red cap there for Kieran Fallon. Then ROZALIA, second to last is Good American, and TEQUILAMOCKINGBIRD is the back marker as they head towards midway over on the far side at a steady looking gallop in the conditions. End Result leading 1.5 lengths to the Fast and the Curious racing in second. That's NUBLE, he goes along in 3rd place. Miss Harmony's next on the outside. PAWAPURI continues to race in that 5th spot. From ROZALIA, and then Good American at the back of the field just toward the inside of TEQUILAMOCKINGBIRD. They run towards the end of the far side then. Lead of about 2.5 lengths for End Result at this stage. From the Fast and the Curious in 2nd place, running toward the final 3.5 furlongs. The pace begins to increase. NUBLE in 3rd. Then came Miss Harmony, PAWAPURI, and then ROZALIA. Another 1.5 away to Good American and TEQUILAMOCKINGBIRD at the back of the field. Top of the home run then, and End Result looks to kick away. has got about a 2.5 length lead from the Fast and the Curious, who's racing in second. NUBLE ridden for more in third. ROZALIA trying to make some headway. PAWAPURI under pressure to try and close, but is doing so in the red cap as they race now down towards the final furlong and a half. End result under David Egan. Had the run of it from the front, trying to fend them off. Here's PAWAPURI. Even wider still ROZALIA to the inside. Good American coming home well. PAWAPURI driven up on turns at end result. To the inside is Good American. ROZALIA out wider. It's PAWAPURI. PAWAPURI just in front. Has beaten into second Good American. Then end result and ROZALIA.
PAWAPURI wins 6-5 on favourite source for Kieran Fallon, William Haggis and Anthony Oppenheimer. Second Good American 16-1. Third end result at 8-1. She'd promised plenty prior to her handicap debut at Yarmouth. She duly delivered there, albeit by a head, but it's been a similar kind of run. She's got going very late, PAWAPURI, but by the line, she's really run through it strongly, and you wonder if it could be a step up and trip even further going forward for her. This was her second win on the bounce, and while it looked like she might even start to fade away with others finishing stronger, she finished strongest of all and has put in a really pleasing performance from a horse still learning about the game. Plenty of nice performances on Kempton's 8-race card. Some of the highlights, of course, Warren Point leading home a 1-2 for Charlie Appleby and Godolphin in the listed stakes at 4:13. 6-4 favourite scored under James Dorr. Was a great day for him. He got 3 winners on the board, courtesy of Fancy Mac, Whispering Romance as well, marking a double for Charlie Appleby and Godolphin when getting off the mark at the first attempt and justifying short odds in the 2:28. PAWAPURI also one to look forward to going forward, as is Bellocchio any time that he heads back to Kempton, winner of the Rosebery on seasonal reappearance and winner of the Middle Distance Series final. And that was the quickest time on the clock as well, courtesy of Bellocchio in a penultimate race. 2:18.92 over a mile and 3 furlongs, 2.32 above the standard, 0.20 furlong per furlong.
We've enjoyed the racing at Kempton today. We had the floodlit stakes listed, which promised plenty. Candleford was the overnight market leader, the highest rated runner in the race. I think he's run his race, but he was just left behind by 2 Godolphin horses who were on the improved Wild Crusade, who shaped the race, who was second. And the winner, Warren Point, who maybe still had stamina to proved it in spades.
Yeah, I think both the two, it's a listed race, but I think both the first two are group horses. I think
Yep.
the third, fourth and fifth tell you that, and I think it's very reliable form, very genuine horse, the winner, and appreciated every inch of the mile and a half.
Yeah. There will be, no doubt, races being mapped out for that horse at the Dubai World Cup Carnival in a couple of months' time. James Dorr, that was 1 of 3 for him on the day, and he goes to Keeneland for rides on Rebels Romance. And Pogo, so best of luck to him for the Breeders' Cup this weekend. Can't get away without talking about probably the performance of the day, which was the 98 rated Bellocchio, just running away with that valuable handicap. What a performance it was. It was I think pound for pound, furlong for furlong, the quickest time of the day as well.
Absolutely, no doubt. They've been a good pace, and he's won really well. I know he's off 98, but that was another stakes class performance. On that surface, he's a very, very, very good horse, no question. He likes to go right-handed. He likes Kempton. It's 2 valuable handicaps he's won this year, and today he was very good.
I think